All right, welcome everybody to Full Throttle Vision. We are live here at the WeBeam Studios, and we have a special guest with us today. Of course, I'm Tony Cianci with Full Throttle Magazine, but introduce yourself. Maybe people might know your face around here. You do have a name.
Tony,
so
you think?
You think? I mean, you got the hat, you got the shirt. I like this guy. Look at, he's got his own branding going on.
Everywhere Eddie, and I'm here in the house.
Which is, I guess some people might say pretty amazing if you think about it.
A few people might.
A few people my jaws might be dropping right now.
Well,
Eddie,
you know,
you did a show for a while. You've been doing a show too.
Yeah.
With He Who We Shall Not Speak Of. I'm just kidding. Born to Ride, you were with for a long time.
Yeah, I was with Born to Ride for over 4 years.
Well, you were with us for a little bit before we were doing our show and everything.
Well, I have to. Let's jump back. I want to thank you guys for having me start out my Everywhere Eddie page in Full Throttle.
Well, you were Everywhere Eddie before we actually...
Oh, yeah.
But you were always Everywhere Eddie. I mean, that's you. So we're sitting there, and I said, okay, let's do something where you always take pictures with everybody. That's kind of your thing, is your selfies. And I was like, well, why don't we take your selfies and put them in a page, in a magazine? People can take, instead of just Facebook, they can see them in printed. So I thought that was pretty cool. We had that for a while, and then the other opportunities opened up with Born to Ride when Fran was with them, of course. And then now Fran, is back with us, and you're out there looking for something to do. You took some time off, I know, because...
Yeah, I'm taking a little time and recovering from a little health issue I had back in December. But my health is there. I'm back to almost 100%, Tony.
Listen.
I'm feeling great,
That's all you can ask for is be, feel good. Whether you got anything that ails you, but if you feel good, who cares what everything else happens, right?
Exactly. I mean, your health is the most important thing. And now I'm back on the bike, and I'm on my 2020 Road Glide special, and
Where'd you get that at?
I got that at Burt's.
Okay, just want to throw that out there for Burt's.
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, my last 3 bikes have been from Burt's.
You have been a Burt's loyal customer, haven't you? And
I think you could say that, right?
Well, you put some miles on those bikes too.
Oh.
There's no doubt about it. You definitely ride more than anybody I'd probably even know.
Well, yeah, I ride a lot, and I enjoy it. It's in my blood. And
we're bikers. It's in our blood.
Any chance I get, I'm on 2 wheels. Occasionally, I have to go into the cage on a cold day,
Listen, I'm not one to sit there and argue with you. Sometimes it's like, do I want to wear 18 layers and freeze my butt off, or do I get in a truck and turn my heated seats on? Let me think. I'm thinking I'm going to turn the heated seats on today.
Well, I don't have heated seats in my truck, but, hey.
I get an excuse, though, every once in a while when I go, well, I got to take the tent and all this stuff, and it's like, I'd rather be riding, but when you got to bring magazines, table, chairs, tents, do the whole setup, it definitely, you're like, okay, I don't have an option, you can't put that on a bike. I mean, unless you're, who was the guy that used to set up and bring out all, remember? Lucky. Lucky used to bring it all.
This little trailer on the back.
Man, it was like Tetris watching him put that back together. He had a setup, he had a tent, tables, all his merchandise, and I'm like, how did you get all that on a motorcycle?
He's amazing. When he had that little trailer on the back of his bike, I was like, whoa.
It was impressive. I was sitting there going, one day I watched him, and I was just watching. Everything had a place, zip tied, and then ratcheted down, and then something else, and then ratcheted down. I was like, okay.
Wild man Lucky, yeah, I tell you.
I haven't seen him in a minute, though, honestly. Now that we've
been a while. I haven't seen him either.
Yeah, he's a good guy, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So what we're going to talk about today is a bunch of different stuff. We got some great videos from Fran Hosh where she went and saw, where she went to Heaven Dropped. Heaven Dropped was where they make stuff out of parachutes.
Parachutes, yeah.
And the video's sweet. It's very cool. It's one of the largest parachute collections in the world, privately owned. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, old parachutes. Yeah.
So they make stuff out of them. I don't know what they make out of them. That's what I was asking. I'm like, what do you make out of old parachutes?
Well, I understand they make like bags, they make bracelets, they make all kinds of stuff.
Maybe parachute pants. I'm just kidding. Owl's Nest, they went and visited that. We got a commercial. We're going to talk about the new Harley-Davidson Bronx, right?
That's the Bronx.
I think it was called the Street Fighter before, and they changed the name to the Bronx. We got a little video on that. That's not coming out till, I want to say that's an August release. I'm not sure, though.
Right, this summer, yeah, definitely. And that's going to be exciting, Tony.
975 bike. Now, they're going down in displacement, but I think you have to in that demographic.
Oh, yeah.
That demographic is definitely going after a younger crowd. Definitely sport bike. You know, you're not traveling as far. I mean,
city bike, you know.
Well, you know, that's what they're doing with this, the electric bike. You know,
Electric bike, yep.
you got that going because that's more city based, and you know, I think it's exciting to see them rolling back rather than coming out with these big baggers and big, you know, street glides and road glides. It's like, yes, there's a market for that, but you got to go after that younger market and get those smaller, less expensive.
Well, personally, I think they should have done it sooner, but I'm glad they're doing it now.
I agree with you. I think I love Harley, but I think they're a couple years behind on every time they come up with something. And it sucks to say that because I love them to death. We all love Harley.
Yeah, hey.
But they're always that step or two behind. They're there, but it's like, okay, here's the hit, and then they're right at the end of it. Then here's the hit, and they're right at the end of it, you know, changing that product. But it takes a long time. You got to get manufacturing together. You got to get the plants making it. You got to. It takes all that back, and then
there's a lot involved. And you know, I've been to a couple of the plants, and it's pretty amazing when you do a tour of a Harley plant. It's crazy. I mean, I've been to the engine plant in Milwaukee, and then I've been to the plant in York, Pennsylvania, where they make all the baggers and. Yeah, it's amazing.
I've never been. I've been to the original plant where they started it when we went up to Milwaukee last year, the year before. That was pretty cool. They got the water tower on the top, and you can only get a certain shirt from there. Juno, is it Juno? I want to say it's. I don't know if that's the plant name but we went up there when we went up for the anniversary, and that was pretty neat to go and see where it started. I mean, it was officially where Harley Davidson first made their first motorcycle, and I was like, okay, you know, you see that
water tower. Now there's a water tower right outside of Bert's Barracuda.
But he was talking at one point trying to fill that with beer and do a beer tag. I said, Bert, come on, what are you doing? He's like, hey, maybe we can make it work. I'm like, you know, he just wants a party, that guy.
Yeah, that's a good. That'd be a big beer keg.
To say the least, right? So we're going to bring up the cover of the magazine this month. It's a little different. Usually our cover looks a little different than this, but there's our cover this month right there. And you're going to see, of course, Attorney Fran Haas is on there. And we wanted to feature our bike shows this year. The bike shows that you see on there, you got the Boardwalk Bike Show, which is one of the largest bike shows in Daytona Beach for Bike Week. That's the orange ad on the bottom left. And then you see Randy's got the Cabbage Patch out there, the Battle of the Baggers. And these are all sponsored by Attorney Fran Haas, which is why these are on the cover. And then one of the most exciting shows I want to see this year, because it's back at the Convention Center and the Ocean Center, is the Corey Souza No Class Bike Show.
Oh, wow.
I love that show, number one.
And that's a great venue.
Oh, man.
My goodness.
That Convention Center is beautiful. They said they got a lot of cool stuff they're doing this year. Courtney Souza, his wife, and just went on there and did an hour-long question and answer, and we were part of that. We're going to bring one of our guitars from the expo where we had Chris Daughtry and Uncle Cracker sign for an auction item.
Nice.
Very cool stuff. They raise money, and they're giving back to 2 different charities this year. If you get a chance, go to Corey Souza's page and watch that video. Courtney talks and gives you every question and answer you possibly need, where to park, how much it is, what hotels, you know, how to get in. It's free to admission to the public. You got to pay to put your bike in a show, of course, but there's no classes. And when Full Throttle does shows, we have classes because a bagger sometimes doesn't compete against a chopper. That's just how that works, so you know. And there you go, we're seeing that. And there, she wrote a whole article on there. Oh, by the way, look at that next to it. I forgot. Do you see the Brian's white feet? You see that circle pointing down?
Goodness.
It is the funniest. You've been to some of their photo shoots to see their white feet. His white feet.
Brian's feet.
This is something new we're doing every month, a behind-the-scenes shot. And Brian's white feet is something to be left desired, that's for sure. He definitely has some white feet, and they love putting it in every picture.
You know, Brian's a great guy, and and some of the stuff they put him through.
I sit there and I go, Brian, do you ever think they're like making fun of you sometimes? He's like, I love it, I don't care. I'm like, okay.
Hey.
You know, I've seen him in fairy outfits and cupids, like he was I was like, okay. I love that guy.
You never know what Brian's going to be next.
That's right. Oh, Scotty Wilson's watching. He said, see you in 2 weeks. He got Bill Smith watching New Smyrna Beach. Jason Lease, what's up? Well, your name came up today, Jason. We were talking about you. Tony Eddy, Rich Mitchell, You got
Hey.
Phil, Everywhere Eddie, my buddy. You guys have a great day. You got Rich, hey Tony, hey Eddie. That's cool. Everybody's commenting.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're watching, share this to your pages too.
Oh, yeah.
Share this to everybody you know. Let them know that we're talking about some good stuff here. So we were flipping through the magazine. He was showing that just now. And one of the things in the magazine this month is we just started really doing our promo for our Sturgis trip.
Oh.
And you and I were talking about that.
Yep.
And the trips we've went on. And I mean, I'll talk about mine first, and you, because you're going to go a little longer, and I'll comment to some of these people. Number one, tell us about your trips in the comments, and we'll go over that. But we're doing the Sturgis trip right there. It's $100 a person. That's just for Full Throttle. We're going to bring 2 trailers, one an open trailer, a flat open trailer with no bikes on it. The other one's going to be an enclosed because we're camping. So if you're bringing camping gear, we'll have an enclosed trailer for you. And if we get a lot of people, we might have 2. We're going to map out the route. It's going to be 5 days travel to Sturgis, and we're going to stay at hotels along the way. And then 4 days in Sturgis, and then 5 days travel back.
Wow.
So it's 2 weeks. We have our own area at Sturgis Buffalo Chip. It's, you know, we're staying at the Buffalo Chip. They gave us our own area, couple RV spots in there, camping. We're going to do a little grill and chill with us. So part of that $100 is going to get you a T-shirt that we're going to make. And one of the nights we're going to do a dinner where we grill, and Full Throttle people that are on the trip are going to make the food for you and get some beer and maybe have one of those crazy nights. Maybe a little tequila, maybe a little vodka,
Hey.
maybe a little, you know, hey, you're in Sturgis, you got to get a little crazy.
If it's Deep Eddie vodka,
You
now
know,
we're talking.
I was always saying we should get you a sponsor because it's even spelled the same way, isn't it? Deep Eddie, Everywhere
Oh,
Eddie,
yeah.
I'm telling you. So we'll get that going. If you guys are looking for that, call us, get scheduled on with that. It's a trip of a lifetime. And why we say something like that is Eddie and I both have those trips that we're going to talk about right now. You want to sign up for this trip. You're going to make friends for life. You know, you don't forget about a 2-week trip with buddies you meet and maybe you didn't know it the first time, and then when you're done you go, man, look what we did, you know?
You know, a trip like that, Tony, for a lot of people, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And the first big trip I did around the country, it was phenomenal. I have stories.
Pictures, probably.
Pictures. You know, when I first left, it was going to be Florida to California and back.
Which is a hell of a trip plan
Yeah.
right there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, that is a hell of a trip plan right there. Florida, California back. I'd be like, okay, yeah, on a plane, right? No, on the road. Tell us about that trip a little bit.
Well, you know, it ended up from Florida to California, and I had some great time in California. I got to see my best friend who had moved out there, and I spent about a week with him. And I spent a week with a cousin of mine who was instrumental in getting me on a motorcycle years ago.
Gotta love that.
And I hadn't seen him in like 20 years, and he's a rider. And I got to spend about a week to 10 days with him up in the San Jose area.
Oh, no, I was going to ask, did you get to ride the PCH at all? Isn't that the best?
I did the PCH from, let's see, where'd I start? Bakersfield. I went over the mountains, and then went north on the PCH all the way up to where I got off to head up to San Jose. And one of the best things, one of the most exciting experiences on that trip, well, there were so many, but while I was in California, my cousin goes, well, where do you want to go? I said, well, you know, isn't Arlen Ness's place somewhere near here? And my cousin goes, oh, yeah, I go there all the time. He took me over to see the Arlen Ness showroom facility. And lo and behold, who do I bump into? I'm walking to the men's room, and it's about 5 o'clock in the evening. And in the other direction, coming towards me, is Arlen Ness.
Oh, wow.
And I was like blown away because I didn't even know he was there.
Yeah, you're like, you don't expect him to be there, right?
And we got to talking, and since then I've met him a couple of times before he passed away, and got to see him out in Las Vegas a few years ago.
I remember seeing him come down Main Street on that jet engine bike. Do you remember that?
Yes.
They shut down Main Street, and he built this jet engine bike. And
Oh, my God.
and he went down Main Street, and people were just in awe because that thing.
That was crazy.
I only knew one other jet engine bike, and it came to Quaker, if you remember. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And it melted a bike behind it. I remember the issue. They came out, and they fired it up. And it got so hot behind it that it melted something, a part of the bike that was sitting behind it. And I was like, he got in trouble for that. I said, oh my goodness, you can't write stories like that.
No, you can't. That's for sure. But anyway, yeah. So that was a great trip. And from California, I ended up past Seattle. I got to see a friend of mine who I had met at Bike Week in Daytona.
Holy, talk about ends of the earth, right?
Oh, you know, when you're in the biker community, you make friends wherever you go. And me, especially being everywhere already, I'm at the Iron Horse, and I meet a couple of young ladies, and we got talking, and they were from the Seattle area. Well, lo and behold, while I'm in California, and I'm posting stuff on Facebook, and I get a message from one of my female friends up in Seattle. And she goes, "You're coming up to Seattle, aren't you? You're in Northern California." I said, "Well, you know, I wasn't planning on it, but lo and behold, I ended up."
Hey, listen, when a woman asks if you're going to stop by on a long motorcycle trip, yes, I am, in fact. Thank you for the invite.
And that whole trip was like that. I mean, I had no set plan as far as where I was going to go once I got to California. So it just kept evolving and evolving.
But that's the way to do it. Oh. No, don't go with a plan. Go with an idea.
Yeah.
And say, okay, I'm going to go to California, like you said.
Right.
And then you go, oh, look, I know somebody here. Oh, look, I know somebody there. Hey, I'm on my way. Why don't we stop to Sturgis? Hey, let's do this. It's like...
And that's what happened.
It's the only way to do it.
It was crazy. It was unbelievable. And a trip of a lifetime. And that was my first big trip. Since then...
You've been all over the place. I asked you, like I asked myself, when I went in 2010, I was just divorced, and I wanted to do that trip because I was younger in this community. And, you know, 2010, I was 30. So just got divorced, and I was like, well, I want to do this trip because people give you shit if you don't do that trip. If you don't get on that bike and go on that multi-thousand-mile road, you know, ride, you're just a wannabe biker, you know, rub weekend guy. And I said, I'm doing this trip. So I actually met up with my people in St. Louis at the time. We had a magazine, rode to Sturgis, and with a group, and like we had with the trailer and everything. Then I went from Sturgis to Vegas by myself, 100%. That was back in the day when these didn't have GPSs on them. I had to go get I got a TomTom, and I had a little digital camera hanging off my wrist. So when I saw someone I was riding, I'd flip it up, take a picture, let it hang, and I'm like, you know, I still look back at that trip, and, you know, it blew me away that I actually did it, number one. But I found myself at times sitting there going, oh my God, I'm in the middle of nowhere on a motorcycle. You know, I remember exactly where I was. I could tell you I was in between this two mountain range, and I had an epiphany. And I really, and I'll tell you to this day, I know everything about this story. I had about maybe a little less than half a tank left. I had about 2 or 3 cigarettes left. I had barely any charge on my phone, right?
Oh,
and I pull over, and there isn't a car in front of me and a car behind me, and nobody went by me. I'm all alone in almost the desert. I mean, I'm coming up into Vegas, and I'm like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. Nobody knows where I'm at. My cell phone isn't working. I got 2 cigarettes left and no gas. I said, what am I doing? You know, am I going to make this trip? What the heck's wrong with me? I was exhausted and tired and hot. But at that point in my life, I said, I'm going to do it.
Oh.
You know, it's not up, grab up, pull on your big boy pants and go do what you got to do. And I said, that's it. This is my plan, is to make it to Vegas. And I said, that's it. And it was just one of those epiphanies where it was like, you get scared or you get worried about where you're at in life. And then you go, no, my plan is still on track. And you got to go forward with it, and you got to make it happen. And that's what I did. And it was really, it was powerful in my life. And I will go back to that till the day I die, that is a point in my life. You know, so we got some videos, Eddie. We're going to play some videos. We are going to look at this Heaven Drop that we talked about where Fran went and saw. And then we got,
cool.
We're going to play that Bronx video, too. We're going to come back and talk about that. So let's play some commercials, and we'll be right back to talk about what you guys see here. Enjoy.
I'm Robbie Groover. I was Staff Sergeant, United States Army. I'm from Sarasota, Florida, and I served both Iraq and Afghanistan. I head up the Heaven Drop program. We are a social enterprise. We're about employing people with disabilities and veterans to make products out of military parachutes. We've built a family here. We build a lot of men and women who get together with the concept of fulfilling a mission and bringing more purpose to individuals with disabilities. And we get to play with some cool material, military parachutes, dating back to World War II, Korean War, Vietnam, New Age parachutes. We have parachutes from fighter jet, ejection harnesses, and high altitude, low open special forces chutes. We currently house around 350,000 pounds, which is the largest privately owned collection of used military parachutes that exist. Everything we get, we purchase, and if we didn't get these parachutes, they would end up being put in landfills and burned, and then that story and that historical material would be lost forever, and you'd only see this in museums. Being in the military for so long and being a staff sergeant in charge of guys in Afghanistan, I wanted to fulfill this future mission of helping other people achieve their goals, bringing people on that otherwise would not have employment opportunities. Heaven Dropped is always looking for more and more people to help with our cause of expanding our resources, building more employment opportunities for the adults with disabilities and veterans with disabilities. And we just appreciate any kind of help in the community and helping us expand our reach.
So, two great videos. Fran going to the Heaven Dropped, where they're making the paracord bracelets and everything. Was that Miss Wheelchair USA in there? I think that was. It looked like
it, yeah.
And then, of course, that Bronx. That Bronx is very cool.
Oh, I tell you, I wouldn't mind having one of those as a second bike, you know.
And I'm saying the same thing because I think, Harley, please, if you're listening, it's got to be in the right price range. I understand your Harley Davidson, but you got to understand that demographic you're going after doesn't have the money that a normal cruiser rider has. That's got to. What do you think that price has got to be? I personally think 12-ish.
12, yeah.
12 and under.
12 and under, if they can do it. I mean, that'd be.
It's got to be 12 and under. Puts it in the right price range for a 20, 30, 40 something who wants to get on a sport bike or have a second bike like you're saying and still be on a Harley. And it's a 975. I mean, it's just under 1,000 cc's. It's going to be a brand new engine. It's just interesting that now they're throwing their toe in this because they did with Eric Buell.
Yep.
And I like the Buell bikes.
Oh. Buells are a good bike, you know.
I owned a Buell bike. They learned them on the courses and they were, you know.
But that market was never attracted to Buell. I don't know why. I think because it was called the Buell. I don't.
Well, and the Buells were like too low displacement. Weren't they 600s or something? They were lower.
Like that, yeah.
And then they did it because he was going to build up to a higher CC, you know. And then I think EB Designs is doing their own stuff now. Eric Buell Designs has their own bikes, but when he built that Firebolt and some of the other bigger ones that had a bigger engine in them, they were going well, but the smaller engine ones weren't.
Never did.
No, that's what I like now is Harley came out with the Street 500 and 750. Those are your learning bikes. Those are your first bikes that you're going to get on. Good bikes, good looking Harley Davidsons.
Nice bikes.
And now you're going to separate the two.
Great starting bikes. Yeah.
Aren't they great? That a deluxe. I think a deluxe is a really, really good starting bike. It's big enough that you can get on it and not feel, you know, like a big guy's not going to engulf the bike, and low enough that a short person or a girl can get on and not be overwhelmed.
Yep. Softail Deluxe is a great bike.
I like Harleys. I like Indians. I like them all. I love the Indian Scout. I think that's a great bike. Dan has one. He was watching. And we were talking about
Who
his
else
Indian
is
Scout.
watching?
I don't know. We got 20-something right now. But, I mean, everybody will watch us later in the day
Oh, yeah.
because it's 12 o'clock. But I think it's cool to have you on here, Eddie, personally. I think I've tried to get you on a few times before when you were doing your other show. And things just weren't at the right time, right place,
Right.
and now here we are.
Well, I'm glad to be here. This is pretty exciting. It's a great studio.
Isn't it awesome?
It's awesome, and you know, back in front of the camera because it's been a while, and
You're like me. I know you. Listen, every time I'm out and about and I see a camera, I'm like, what are you guys doing over there? What are you shooting? What are you shooting for? And I'm always like, you guys want to do an interview? I mean, I own a magazine. Oh, yeah. I'm like, you know, I'm new at this. I've never done TV stuff before. I always give them shit, and then when they do it, they're like, you're good. I'm like, well, I do a show every week. So let's talk about some of this other stuff we got coming, Eddie. Because I know we're on a plan, and I'm looking at the time frame going, oh, crap, I got to get on this. Upcoming events.
yeah, this Saturday, the Suncoast Brotherhood Pasco chapter, their chili cook-off.
Now, you're part of Suncoast Brotherhood.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm a lifetime member of Suncoast Brotherhood. This is it's the Pasco chapter of the chili cook-off, right? So you have that.
It's always exciting.
Yep,
and
there we go. There's a chili cook-off one. That's
Yeah.
they're doing a gun raffle. I see that.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
I'll go back to that. The Hurricane Kit of Cheer. I saw this. So the Hurricane Kit of Cheer is all alcohol and a generator. I said, that's a great giveaway right there for Florida.
Oh, it is.
Well, 'cause
a generator. Look at it, man.
A generator, just in case your power goes out. 'Cause
Hey.
that's what happens in hurricanes, right? I just got in my ear, why do you need a generator? What? You got to power your cell phone somehow. And then, so it's alcohol and a generator, and then you can win a gun. So, I mean, it's kind of everything you need for a
I tell
hurricane
ya.
party right there.
And the chili.
Oh, chili, well, and I mean, I might as well put toilet paper in there then, too. 'Cause you're gonna need it.
Oh, God.
I love chili. I love this time of year because I think Bert's is just setting up a chili cook-off coming up soon.
That's coming up soon, too.
And I definitely love chili cook-offs. One of my favorites. Now, I've got to ask you this question. Beans and chili or no beans and chili?
I like beans in my chili.
See, he says beans. My ears saying no beans. I'm a no bean chili fan just because I'm from Ohio.
Oh.
So, and Ohio Skyline chili does not have beans in it. So,
Yeah, Skyline chili.
yep. So I was like, okay, chili's meant for taco spaghetti and hot dogs. That's my thing.
Matter of fact, the first time I had Skyline was in Ohio on one of my trips.
What do you think? Do you like it or not? Because it's
Oh,
either
yeah.
a love or hate.
Oh, yeah, no, I like it.
Because Skyline Chili is a love or hate. I find people, there's no in between like, oh, I'll deal with it. Nope. You either love Skyline Chili or you hate Skyline Chili.
I go to the one in Clearwater occasionally.
It's the only one left. They took the one out here in Palm Harbor, which sucked because I really like that one. I would drive by and be like, ooh, Skyline. I could jump in there, get a couple dogs. On the
Yeah,
way.
I tell
love
you.
hot dogs. That's my
Hot dogs.
No wiener jokes.
Skyline.
All right. I love hot dogs. It is what it is.
dogs and chili, hey, you can't beat it.
Listen, somebody said back in the day, they go, do you ever watch how hot dog was made? You ever show the video? I said, nope, and I never will because I love hot dogs.
I don't want to know.
I want to know how they're made or what's in them, or because if I watch that, I'll never eat a hot dog again, and I love hot dog and pizza. I might as well be a 2-year-old kid.
Oh,
hot
my
dog
God.
and pizza.
Yep.
All right, we missed one, the scavenger hunt. Pull up that scavenger hunt so we can read on that. That is missions and scavenger hunt and missions, Ride for the Fallen. I'm trying to read it and see where that goes, but that's coming up here. Let's see.
The 29th.
29th, that's this
Yep.
Saturday as
This
well.
Saturday, yep.
What's special about the 29th of February, Eddie?
It's the leap year.
Yes, it is. Leap year. So that's coming up, sponsored by Fran Hosh, 15 per rider, per hunter. I like that. So is pre-registration 20 per hunter on regular registration.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Newport Richie Harley Davidson's doing a grill and chill coming up. I believe, when is that, John? There we go, pulling that up. That is this Saturday as well. It is kind of a busy weekend.
You know, it's amazing. When you're in the biker community, a weekend like this, it's like, where do you go?
And that's what happens a lot of weekends.
Oh.
You know, right now is the most beautiful time. They're saying 60s and 70s this weekend. You put a light jacket on, maybe a long sleeve, and you're out riding. You're not going to get burnt. You're not going to get overheated. This is the time to ride. And you can see that because everybody plans everything.
That's how I became everywhere ready. going to like 4 events in one day.
Oh, and let me tell you, because it's like, wait, weren't you just at? Yep, yeah, I was, and then I got on a bike and I rode over here. We have a staff, so we'll be like, and we plan it that way. So we'll be like, okay, at 1 o'clock you post something from here. At 1:30 I'll post from here. At 2 o'clock we'll post from here. People are like, God, you guys are everywhere. It's like, that's the idea, is to try and be everywhere. See, he stole the name of everywhere. That's just the thing. It just goes with Eddie, you know. So Eddie is out there everywhere. Let's see, what else we got? We talked about scavenger hunt, the grill and chill, the chili cook-off, and then one event that's coming back with Full Throttle Magazine that was with us before, and then kind of went a different route, but the Salty Shamrock.
Salty Shamrock down in Apollo Beach.
Salty
Great
Shamrock.
bike night.
I've seen you go out there. You've been traveling a little bit too. Salty Shamrock's good. She got MC Sharpie out there doing it. They got the
sharp one.
The Sharpie. I like him. Your first 10-ounce draft of domestic or Shamrock Irish Ale is on the rock for bike night only. So they're going to buy you your first beer too. Good food, great place. I noticed last month you were out at West Coast Florida Riders Stottlemeyer's.
Yeah.
Now you live up here by me, and we're up here in Hudson right now, actually.
Yeah.
So from Hudson to Stottlemeyer's.
Well, you know, I hadn't been to Stottlemeyer's before, and a friend of mine who lives, now this is this is crazy. A friend of mine who lives up in Homosassa said she was going to Stottlemeyer's. So I said, well, hey, I'll ride with you. We met up in Land O'Lakes, where I live, and we jumped on I-75 and shot down to Stottlemeyer's. Had a great time. I mean, it was a fantastic bike night, my first time there, and enjoyed it immensely. Got to see Tony.
That's right. We're always down there, set up at Stottlemeyer's, West Coast Florida Riders. I was responding. Somebody says got to have beans, so I had to put a pukey face in there for him. So I'm like, you got no beans?
Hey.
Oh, Randy Akers says, hey, brothers, what's going on? David Moss is watching. Let's see, Jason Lee. Sorry, you were talking. I didn't mean to jump in there. Softail Slim is amazing bike, lowered seat height, even on a Harley. Yeah, I mean, again, everybody's just commenting on the stuff we're doing. Jeff Cross, so very cool.
Yeah, so Stottlemeyer's was a lot of fun.
Did you get to eat there at all or no?
Yeah,
I ate, food.
And the food was excellent. And the ride back was a little long, but
how long was it to get there? Because I know it's a Thursday night, and you're talking, hey, yeah, let's go to Stottlemeyer's in Sarasota over the bridge. I know it took me, I want to say, an hour and a half, almost 2 hours to get there from the office in Tarpon. And it was, you got there after me, so you left with more traffic time.
Well, I came straight down 75, and that traffic, the construction in Sarasota. Oh my God. You know, I lived in Sarasota for 16 years, and to see the change, the transformation, and what's going on, and I mean, it's crazy. But
I couldn't do that bridge every day.
Oh.
Listen, my mind, when you get up that high, my mind starts going, oh yeah, I remember when that boat hit, and then when you're, sometimes you're doing it and those big cruise liners are coming under it, you're like, oh, please don't hit that barricade. You know, back in the day, I mean, we just celebrated that anniversary of that bridge getting hit, believe it or not. Scary, I mean, you're up there. You are up there on that bridge. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite rides, the Skyway. I can remember my first time over the Skyway. I was with a group out of Sarasota, and they said, hey, we're going up to Biff Burger. And I said, what's Biff Burgers? So they said, oh, you got to ride with us. I said, of course. And I didn't realize we were going to be going over the Skyway. And at the time, I was on a Dyna lowrider.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I mean, that's a light bike, and
was it a windy day?
It was a little windy.
Oh,
it was
Jesus.
Saturday afternoon, and but I loved it, and now it's become one of my favorite rides. Any opportunity I have to do the Skyway, I'm there.
I remember going through. I went on my old Suzuki going over it. And it was only an 800. So, I mean, you had to get it going up that bridge. So, I mean, and I put different baffles in there. So I'm getting it, and I'm by myself. I'm coming back over, and I was one of those. I was young, so I mean, I would gas it all the way through the top, right? When I got almost there, I would go over the top and just as fast as I could. I don't know where it was because my speedometer was broken on that bike. So I was just going and getting it. And I get off the bridge one time, a guy goes, man, you're getting it. He goes, your exhaust, your baffle blew out at the top. It came out and was spinning in the middle of the road. I said, I'll go get another. I said, I'll go get, excuse me. You know, like, I said, I'll go get another one. It's right before Daytona. So I pulled in and I went right to JP Cycles.
Oh, geez.
I put new baffles in. Made no difference. It was still as loud as it was. I'm like, I think I put baffles in. And they're like, yeah, well.
Well, that's one way to blow your baffles on the Skyway.
I might as well, right? Left for a good story. I mean, hopefully it didn't hit any cars or anything like that, but I did blow a baffle out there. And so we have some more videos. We're going to play another quick video from Fran. She went to the Owl Sanctuary, the Owl's Nest Sanctuary, and I believe a Fran commercial. So we're going to come back and talk about some bike week bike shows we're doing over in Daytona and the Corey Souza show and all types of great stuff. So here's some videos. We'll be right back.
Owl's Nest is actually a little over 5 years old now. It started as a whim. I'm a retired zoologist from Busch Gardens. Used to work in the animal nursery, and I had a friend tell me I was wasting my talent, so they gave me some squirrels and bunnies, and within 3 months Owl's Nest was born. And 5 years later, here we are. We have a property, and we probably put through about 3,000 animals a year. We have become, in Central Florida, the largest rehab. We cover 9 counties. My team is about 200 people, all great professional people that their heart is so big they will run on holidays and all hours of the night just to get an animal to me to start rehab. Nitro is what they call a silver fox. He is a melanistic form of a red fox. What that means, it's a color phase of the red fox. And he came to us in August. He was found abandoned at Picnic Island Park in Tampa. He was pretty close to death. He was just shivering in the wet. Of course, now he's, what, about 7 months old, and he is one of our education animals we're working with to tell people about not only the red fox species for the state of Florida, but how much trouble you can get into when you get into the exotic breeds that you can't handle at your house.
We are at Owl's Nest Sanctuary for Wildlife Rescue today. I want to thank Chris and Rhea and Patrick and all the rest of the volunteers for everything that you guys are doing for our rescue animals. We really appreciate it. Thanks for making all my fox dreams come true.
Oh, you're welcome. We're welcome anytime.
I decided to pursue a career in law because it gives me an opportunity to help people. When a client chooses us to represent them, they're entrusting us with a huge responsibility. It's our goal to exceed their expectations with our personalized service and to help them to achieve the best possible recovery to compensate them for their injuries.
That's where we come in. We come in and we solve that problem for them and really set them on the right track in order to try and get back to what their life was like before the accident happened.
So we're sitting here watching the videos with you guys, actually talking about it, and yeah, we're Fran heavy because we love Fran, and everything she does for this community is for the betterment of the community.
Oh, she's incredible. I mean, the things that Fran does for the community in general and the biker community, it blows my mind. I mean, her food drive every year, that's
just huge. 3 trailerfuls last year. I had to pull one out and go drop it off to come back because it was so full we had to get it out because if we kept putting stuff in there, it was never going to be moved.
Crazy, yeah.
And, you know, we were just sitting here and said other attorneys are worried about their cars and their boats and their planes and they're making all this money doing all this. Well, Fran's out there doing videos and commercials and helping people and, you know, like you had the Heaven Dropped and Owl's Nest and, you know, that fox, and by the way, she wants a fox. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah.
She's been on Facebook. If you don't know Fran, she wants a fox. And Rhett's like, I don't know. And she's like, well, boy, I want a fox. That's too funny right there because, and they're just amazing people, and to say that about an attorney, number one, is a mouthful.
Right.
And to see what they do is just second to none. 866-LAW-FRAN, lawfran.com. Cars, bikes, motorcycles, trucks, slip and falls, dog bites, you name it. That's what they're there to do, is take care of you. And a personal injury attorney that cares about you and your well-being is definitely somebody.
And lets you know what you need to do to, you know, as far as liability goes.
A good lead in there, Eddie. God, this guy's good. I like having him there. So on her site, I pulled this off today. This is ways you can minimize your own liability in a motorcycle accident. I'm going to let you touch on a few, and I'll grab the last 2.
All right. Well, you know, the first thing you should do, and I know a lot of people don't like to, but wear a helmet. I mean, that, liability right there, that's a big factor. And, I've always, I've worn a helmet for a long time. In the beginning, when I first started riding, I didn't, but I started to. And now I'm wearing a full face, actually a modular helmet, which I started wearing back this past summer. And I never thought I could wear a full helmet, Tony. But I'm so used to it now, and I love it. And especially on those cold nights, boy, I just close that up.
Well, the fact of, I promised my kids I would wear a helmet. They wanted me, they said, if you're going to ride, we want you to wear a helmet. I said, I promise I'll wear a helmet whenever I ride, so I do. Yep. And somebody told me just recently, they said, the human head has the consistency of take a cantaloupe melon, okay? Now, if you take a cantaloupe melon and you drop it from here to the ground, what happens to that cantaloupe melon?
Splat.
So just think about that. The human head is very much the consistency of a cantaloupe melon. I know you got bones and stuff like that, but if you treat it like you can put your hands on something and you could physically take that and squeeze it and break it. Yep. So you got to put, I know we got a helmet law and you guys get a choice, and yes, I'm all for the choice.
Yep.
But I'm on the other side I'm all for helmets. I'm all for helmets. I think up to a certain age, if you're under 21, you shouldn't be. I think you are guaranteed. You have to wear a helmet.
Have to wear one. Yep.
And insurance purposes, I think you don't wear a helmet in the state if you have over so much health insurance or life insurance or something like that. I don't know. Not my thing. I just listen. They can guarantee. I'm going to ask you this question. They can forcibly make you wear a seatbelt in a car where you're surrounded by a steel cage.
Right.
But they give you an option to wear a helmet, which is your only safety feature on a motorcycle.
Crazy.
Doesn't make much sense to me, but I know we fought for that, and I'm down for it, but I'm very much on the helmet side.
Yeah, I am too. And, a good friend of mine went down this past summer, and she's been suffering with serious head trauma, and it's not good.
Even if it's a skull cap, at least it's got to be DOT approved, which we won't get into the whole does DOT approve a helmet or not. They don't really, but it's got to have certain functions. The Department of Transportation doesn't pick up this helmet and go, oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
No, it's got to meet certain regulations, and you can put a dot sticker on there. So what's the next one?
Next one is dress brightly and protectively. I mean, I know a lot of guys on sport bikes wear armor in their suits, and that's a good thing. Especially when they're going
when they're going 150 like they do. Yeah, I hear you.
But I have a jacket where I have elbow armor and shoulder armor in it, and
see, but the sport bike guys look cool when they wear that. When the Harley guys put it on, you're like, this guy planning on going down? And what's his problem? You look and go, does he fall a lot or something? You got to look at him twice.
They make Kevlar jeans.
So if you slide, they won't rip. And
that will protect you if, God forbid, you do go down. And
it's not if. We all know, Eddie. We're all bikers. When. It's not if, it's when, because it's going to happen.
Well, I this past January was my 7-year anniversary from when I was hit by a drunk driver.
When you were sitting still, right?
Sitting still, waiting in a left-hand turn lane with 1 o'clock in the morning, nobody on the road. I'm watching the signal. I had 6 seconds once that yellow light came on for the east-west traffic. I'm ready. I'm on the throttle. I'm ready to move. And within that 6-second period, this guy came from out of nowhere and bam.
Jeez.
He didn't even attempt to stop. I had no warning, no screeching tires. It just bam.
Wow.
And
well, they say sometimes that helps. If you lock up when you know something's coming, you get hurt more. If you don't know, I mean, obviously you're here, so I'm sure you were banged up. I remember you were banged up really good.
Yeah, it was a scary experience, and knock on.
Gotta find some wood. Oh, there you go.
There's a
wooden motorcycle.
Wooden motorcycle. Knock on wood. I'm still here. And the state trooper who did the investigation at the scene that night, he came over to me and said, "Sir, you're very lucky." He goes, "I've seen motorcycle accidents a lot less than what you just experienced, where the rider's been killed."
Well, you had somebody watching over you that day.
Yeah, my guardian angel was there that night, and
that's right. And then so that leads into the next one. Stay sober.
Stay sober.
Stay sober. I mean, you know, drivers and bikers. That's just a given. Guys, don't drink and ride. I am very much an advocate. I don't drink at all, really. I mean, I don't like drinking. I don't like drinking and riding. I don't like people that do it.
Yep.
It's just a thing. I understand it's part of what we do in this community. It's not, I mean, I'm not saying it like that, but we go to events, you have a beer, drink responsibly. Have one beer, eat something, wait an hour. Have a couple beers, wait 2 hours, eat something. You can drink, just drink responsibly, and that's first and foremost with everything.
Yeah, responsibly. That's the key right there. If you're going to drink, if you're going to drink and
if
ride.
you're going to get hammered, get an Uber, leave your bike, call Kirk at Moto Tow. He'll take you wherever you need to go, right?
Yep.
I mean,
Oh,
Moto
yeah.
Tow will pick you up, take you anywhere you got to go, especially if you've been drinking. You know, you can find their numbers in the book, especially at Bike Week. You know, he's going to be out there. Kirk, Moto Tow, and he's got all his numbers out there.
Yep.
The last two, invest in a helmet cam. That's helping a lot of people out nowadays, because if you're, you know, it's your word against theirs unless you have a helmet cam. If you have a helmet cam and you can prove it's their fault, that's a whole lot easier for insurance purposes too. For
a lot
attorneys.
easier, yeah.
And insurance purposes, they can sit there and you can, you know, it's not a who did this and who did that and who ran a light, and you can see this all on there. And then the last one is perform pre-ride inspections, which a lot of people don't do. Check your air pressure, make sure your brakes work, make sure, you know, the clutch is working fine, make sure all the headlights are on.
All your lights, yep.
You know, those are
Your
important
directionals,
things.
yep.
You got to do that. You got to check all that stuff. You want more information, you go to the Fran Hosh website, look up www.lawfran.com, or call her 866-LAW-FRAN. And we are going to play some more videos. Our last video is a Fran video. It's a Fran commercial. Then we're going to come back and talk about all the Daytona stuff we got, because I see we got a few minutes left after that. So,
Yeah, and Daytona's
Eddie,
coming up.
You going to be in Daytona for Bike Week?
Oh, yeah.
We always get a crash room. We're going to stay at the Ocean Center, right across from the Ocean Center at the Wyndham, and you know, that way we can party at Corey's the last night and stumble across the street back to the hotel. Because I know my guys Corey's party is a lot of fun, and they got a lot of great stuff planned.
It's going to be
year.
good. It's going to be good.
All right, here's a commercial. We'll be right back.
I decided to pursue a career in law because it gives me an opportunity to help people. I enjoy being a passionate advocate for my clients, and I'm so grateful that being a lawyer also allows me to make a positive impact on our community. When a client chooses us to represent them, they're entrusting us with a huge responsibility. It's our goal to exceed their expectations with our personalized service and to help them to achieve the best possible recovery to compensate them for their injuries.
Having been through a serious accident myself, I understand how instantly isolated someone can feel during the immediate aftermath. We try to shed light on a client's situation so that they don't feel so isolated, knowing that they have us on their side, working towards a resolution on their behalf. That's where we come in, and that's what the firm did for me as well. We fight to set clients on the right track so that they can try to get back to the life they had prior to the accident.
A fellow was texting and driving and came across the line and hit me head on. Just a horrific accident. I literally thought I was going to die. You know, I've dealt with thousands of wrecks in my life being on the fire department and never thought I would be in that situation. Fran is a big sponsor of a lot of the restaurant events for bikers and things like that. So I knew that she had a lot of experience in wrecks and things. So she was the first one I thought of to call. She's a bulldog. They found out things that I didn't think were possible to find out. When you're laying in a hospital bed and you're hurting, I understand it. It's scary, but if you have Fran Hosh on your side, it should alleviate a lot of your worries. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
They have their own lives to take care of, whether it's family, a job, or all the above. We endeavor to shield clients from the stressors of an injury claim so that they can try to focus on what is truly important.
The culture of this firm is based on charity, compassion, and I like to surround myself with team members that are going to treat a client like they're part of our family. Community is number one to me. We do a food drive every year. If it's a cancer benefit, a food benefit, something for the animals, something for veterans, we love to be involved in that. The bikers are such a charitable group of people, and they have the biggest hearts. I love being part of that community. This can be devastating to have an accident, and it's just a priority of mine to make sure they get the best medical care possible to make a full recovery.
That video right there is basically her saying how she got into being an attorney so she can help people.
Yep.
That is it. I mean, you're helping people that are in a, you know, in a medical, in a bed, in a hospital going, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? She's like, we're going to take care of you, and that's what they do, and that's
amazing. Yep.
Still amazing. All right, let's get into this Bike Week stuff because we got 5 minutes and we got to hammer through this.
5 minutes and Bike Week is almost here.
I'm excited.
Oh, so am I.
Do you go over and stay, or what do you do? Do you go back and forth?
Yeah, I'm going to be staying for, I think, 3 or 4 days this week.
I do all 11.
Yeah.
It's intense.
I've done it.
So actually, I'm going to come back Monday because and I wanted to put this out there, Full Throttle sponsors a hockey team. All right, a hockey team my brother and I play on, of course.
Oh, nice.
So our first playoff game in the playoffs, we got the first round bye because we're in first place. I'm just saying. I mean, I just want to put that out there. So we got a bye the first week. This Monday night at the Clearwater Ice Arena is our first playoff game. If we make that the championship game, of course, it's March 9th, the first Monday of Bike Week. So I said, okay, if that's the case and we win our next games and we're in the playoffs in the championship, I'm going to invite everybody. I'm going to put an event out there, invite everybody. I'm going to come back from Daytona so I can play my championship game. And all the bikers, if you're still here, if you want to come to that hockey game, I'm going to buy a couple pitchers of beer for everybody if they show up.
Oh, cool.
So you guys can come watch it. It's got an upper area so you can watch the whole game. So if bikers want to come out and watch the Full Throttle hockey team play hockey, it's going to be on, I believe, is that the 9th? Is that next month? Not this next Monday, the Monday after? I'm trying to look at dates. It's the 10th. No, it's the 9th. It's the 9th. So I'm going to come back from Bike Week, and we'll have to, you guys can come watch Full Throttle team. Of course, we got orange jerseys, and you know it says Full Throttle on it. I was gonna put some Fran Hosh patches on there. Listen, when I do something, I don't do anything half-assed. Hey, haven't you learned that? I'm on a hockey team. Hey, can I sponsor it? Yeah, sure. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna sponsor the hockey team. Next thing you know, next season, I'm gonna be the captain. I'm like, okay, well, it is what it is, right? You gotta love being able to sponsor stuff. So that might be the 9th. Okay, let's hammer through these.
That'll be fun.
So. The first Saturday of Bike Week, we're at DeLand Bike Week, right there. Look at that. DeLand Bike Rally, sponsored by attorney Fran Hosh. Now, what you're going to see is all these events, but we do shows. What Full Throttle does is bike shows. That's one of our big things during Bike Week. Trophies, shows, all that great stuff. DeLand's actually a cool little town, one-day event. They got vendors, all types of good stuff, sponsored by attorney Fran Hosh. We're going to be doing a bike show there. Most of our shows are 10 to 3, 10 to 2 with awards at 3 or 4, so something like that. Sponsored by Seminole Harley Davidson. Our next show is we don't have one Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. We will be going Tuesday to the Cabbage Patch. I believe they're doing a show with Randy out there. The 11th, Rat's Hole show.
Rat's Hole.
Can you believe that? I
mean, a good one.
It is. And in Full Throttle magazine, they join up with the Rat's Hole. A lot of people might just look at that and brush it off. Those are two of the bigger bike show companies, you know, people out there doing big shows. You know, you got Randy's shows are big, and you got all these other things, but these are two that have been doing shows for a long time. So when he asked me, would we do a show? I said, well, yeah, let's do something together. Let's see if the world, what they say about that.
Rat's Hole's always a great show, wherever it is, whether it's Daytona, whether it's Leesburg,
Sturgis.
Sturgis.
They do them all over the place. I know Leesburg's a lot of fun. They're right we do Friday there. They do Saturday. So next is the Grandview Live. This one's a little different, Eddie. I don't know. This one's a nighttime show. It's at an adult establishment.
Oh, really?
Yes, it is.
So I may have to check that one out.
This one's a fun one. It's called the Full Throttle Nighttime Down and Dirty Bike Show.
Nice.
Listen,
Thursday. I'll be there Thursday.
Then that's perfect. I found a great picture for it. I said, "Oh, look, a girl on a bike."
Nice.
It's at the Grandview Live. It's Thursday, March 12th. It's a nighttime show, 8 to 11, with awards at midnight. So we go out there, and when you enter that show, you get into the club for free.
Oh.
So,
Well,
you know,
I'll have to enter.
there you go. We can put that white road glide in there for sure.
My stormtrooper.
I think, yeah, I was going to say, because I was showing you the stuff up here. They do Nerd Talk. I was actually on Nerd Talk. Oh, my God, we got a minute left. I got you. I hear you. He just got my ear. I just noticed that. Boardwalk, biggest show in Daytona. Boardwalk bike at the end of Main Street. Probably going to be 200 bikes. It's amazing. This is the show of Daytona. It's on the beach. It's going to have 200 bikes. It's going to be amazing. Saturday, we have 2 shows. First one is going to be the Speedway. That one is a 500 best in show. Same with the Boardwalk is 500 best in show. So the Speedway is 10 class. We're going to be out there. The next one is a first time for us is going to be at Rossmeyer's. Now, we've done some shows there, but this one's going to be at Destination. And March 14th, Saturday. And then, of course, we end the day on Saturday at Corey Souza's bike show.
The big one, Corey Souza.
The No Class bike show over at the Ocean Center. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's 4th annual. They started 4 years ago in a barn, like 2 miles away from Daytona.
Yep.
Now, and she was saying at the time, if you watch her video, I'm never going to be there.
Look at
and now they're in there.
It's going to be great.
Eddie, thank you for being on the show.
Tony.
Fran loves the show. Say Fran hi. She just said she loves the show. So, all right, that's it. 10 seconds, we're out. Eddie, thank you for being on the show with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll
Great
see you
being
guys
here.
next Friday here. Full Throttle Vision every Friday at 12 noon.